We are about to start. I just need to make sure that we have the proper audio set up and we're gonna start. Just for the people who are just watching right now, it's 3 minutes to 10. We are about to start. Hold on one second. Just to make sure that we have the proper audio set up. Yep, everything is properly set up. And so we're about to start in 3 minutes. I just need to make sure that we're gonna be starting on time. And the main lesson today it's gonna be about vocabulary, right? But I am going to be explaining you what's gonna be our marathon. So everybody's gonna be aware of it, and everybody has a chance to participate. So we will start in 2 minutes. Talk to you soon, guys. Alrighty. Can everybody hear me? Hello, 1, 2, 3, testing. This is Teacher Nestor with Nika Lingue. In today's episode, we're gonna be talking about the improving and developing speaking skill marathon. I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty happy, everybody, because this is gonna be a week event where I'm gonna be sharing with you what actually you need to improve your spoken English. All right. Just for you to know, this marathon, people, this marathon is for you. So you need to take advantage of this. You need to be able to actually develop this strategy that we're going to be working during this week. And then you will have the opportunity to improve your speaking skill. In fact, let me tell you one thing. If you actually learn what is the strategy that we're gonna be developing during these 3 days, believe me, you will become an active learner speaker, and in that case, you will be able to improve your listening and your speaking skills, right? So right now we have people coming in. Remember that this is all your, and the only thing that you need to do, guys, is to participate in our event. You can write your questions, you can say your comments, and right now we have 3 viewers, okay? And we would like to know where you guys are watching from, and if you have right now the ability to write down your message, you can go ahead and do it. I'm gonna be able to read your message. All right, so let's go ahead and see right here. Give me 1 second, making sure. Alrighty, so this is the thing, right? Welcome to the Improving and Developing Speaking Skill Marathon I Speak program. And what we're going to be covering during this time, the agenda is going to be the following. During the first day, which is this today, right? We're going to be working on how to improve and record new vocabulary. All right. So it turns out that there are a lot of students that probably they learn vocabulary list. However, this is not the proper way for you to learn vocabulary. And we're going to be talking today about how to actually learn new vocabulary and improve the one that you already have in your knowledge base, right? Another thing that I want you to know, guys, that on day 2, we're going to be talking about a strategy that will help you to speak a little bit longer. Sometimes I have met students that they have certain kind of English level. They are able to listen to what I say or what other people say. However, at the moment that they want to speak, it's difficult for them to speak. It's difficult for them to actually expand their answers. So the reason why that we're going to be developing on day 2, it's because I want you to have a proper strategy on how to extend your answer every single time you have the opportunity somebody asks you a question, and then you can practice, obviously, or you can develop this strategy, right? Another thing that I want you to know that on day 3, guys, we are going to be working on the 5 steps or the 5-step guide to become fluent in English. And we will do the I Speak presentation program, where I will give you every single details about what we do at Nicalingüe with our I Speak program, right? And last but not least, this is very important. This is something that I want to give you as a present, guys. This is our private speaking practice session. What is this about? In order for you to have access to day number 4 of our private speaking practice session, basically what you need to do is to do the assignments for day number 1 and day number 2. That's right. After each lesson, I'm going to give you some assignments, and I'm going to give you some offline activities where you need to do them in order for you to have the opportunity to have this private speaking practice session. And obviously, the private speaking practice sessions, they are also for free. So you don't have to pay anything at all. But the only thing you need to do is to do assignment number 1 from day 1 and assignment number 2 from day 2. Alrighty, so let's see what we have over here. That's gonna be during this week agenda, right? Let's see. Alrighty. So a couple of heads up, right? People, this is for you, right? It's very important. It's very crucial that you have with you, or you have next to you, a notebook and a pen or a pencil that you can take notes. Let me tell you, we can spend 30 minutes, 60 minutes, 90 minutes about talking on how to improve your speaking skills. However, if you don't take notes on what we're going to be discussing today, it's going to be a little bit, impossible for you to actually to improve. Let me tell you, whenever you hear something, the capacity that your brain has, it might be between 10%, but when you write down and you take notes, that increases up to 40%. I'm talking about your memory, meaning that you will have the opportunity to basically to remember, right, the vocabulary that we are talking about, right? So now, another thing that I want to share with you guys is active participation. It's very crucial. It's very important that you can be really active on the YouTube And the only thing that you need to do, people, is to write down your answers on the chat of about the questions that we're gonna be talking today. And obviously, if you have questions, right, you just need to write them down below. Okay, cool. So step number 3, or point number 3 that I want you to know is that for you to have access to our private speaking session, as I mentioned earlier, the only 2 things that you need to do is to complete assignment number 1 and complete assignment number 2, right? So basically, those are the 2 things you need to do in order for you to have this opportunity, right? Now, what is my objective with this? Obviously, I want to help as much as students as possible. Students that are struggling with their speaking skills, right? I know for a fact that there are students that perhaps they have a really good skills on reading, good skills on writing, listening. However, when it comes to speaking, they are lacking of this skill. So the main idea of my main objective is to help those students struggling with the speaking skills. But I need your help as well, guys, right? And the only thing that I want you to do is to please share among your friends on social platforms, right? This could be Facebook, Instagram, or whatever other platform that you guys use. That's the only thing that I want you to do. I just want you to share these lesson from day 1, lesson from day 2 on your social platform, on Facebook, Instagram, or whatever platform you guys use, right? So with that being said, I think that we already covered the introduction, and let's go ahead and get started then with today's lesson, right? Today's lesson. So the Improving and Developing Speaking Skill Marathon, what we're gonna be covering, identifying your weaknesses, right? Another thing that we're gonna be working on is on how to improve those weaknesses that we just found. And obviously, we are gonna make sure you are gonna have the proper lesson on how to improve those weaknesses, and then have a practice in a controlled environment, right? Then you will have feedback from me or another tutor. And last but not least, you will have real practice with the real world, right? So that's basically the 5 steps that we're gonna be covering: identifying weaknesses, work on how to improve those areas of opportunities or weaknesses, practice in a controlled environment, feedback, and real world practice, right? So, but before we go and talk about today's lesson, let's go ahead and break this down. What is actually developing, or what is improving and developing speaking skill? What is actually a speaking? All right. When it comes to speaking, it's breakdown in vocabulary, right? But in vocabulary, there are special skills that we need to be aware of in order for us to improve and develop our vocabulary. And one of these is record the word properly, which is the things that we're gonna be working on today. Get the meaning, pronunciations, and examples. Another skill that is in speaking is pronunciation. And when it comes to pronunciation, we need to be aware of sound of English. We need to be aware of word stress. We need to be aware of intonation. That will help us out to improve our speaking skills. Now, on the other hand, we have grammar range. Grammar range have to do with the range tenses and as well as with accuracy. Range tenses is what we call the 12 tenses in English: present, past, future, present perfect, past perfect, conditional, and so on. And accuracy is the less amount of errors that you make into your sentences, right? And last but not least, within the skills of speaking or sub skills of speaking is fluency and coherence. Fluency is basically to speak naturally without long pauses, hesitation, or fillers. For example, have you ever had the opportunity to talk to people and they start hesitating, like, I don't, yeah. So they are hesitating, they are making long pauses, or they are making too many fillers, like so that is not speaking naturally. And a lot of students get confused that speaking fluent meaning or means that you need to speak fast, and actually that is not speaking fluent, it's just speaking fast. But anyway, we're gonna be covering those areas in order for you to actually improve them. Alrighty, so besides influency, also we have content, which is organizing your ideas, and that's what we're gonna be covering on day 2. We're gonna be working on a strategy to organize your idea and then make your speaking longer and have the opportunity to show off every single time you're being asked a question with the strategy we're gonna be covering in day number 2. Alrighty, so let's get started with today's lesson. Today's lesson, it's about vocabulary, how to improve vocabulary. And quick hint right here. Remember that these 2 lessons from day 1 and day 2 are very crucial, so take notes, because on day 3 you're gonna be needing them, right? So right now I'm gonna teach you guys how to recall new words, how to record vocabulary, so you can have the better opportunity to keep it in your long-term memory, right? So let's imagine the following. Let's imagine the topic is about age, right? There are hundreds and hundreds of questions about age, and right now I'm not gonna be covering the questions. I'm gonna be covering just the vocabulary and how you need to record this vocabulary in order for you to keep it in your long-term memory. So how to improve your vocabulary? Objective, right? Learn new vocabulary, meaning, pronunciation, and examples. And obviously we're gonna be some hand-on to record the vocabulary. And at the end of this lesson, everybody, we're gonna have I'm gonna be giving out or giving away our vocabulary planner at the end of this lesson, so you can also use it, and in order for you to have it and practice on my weekly vocabulary planner, right? Okay, so what are the 4-step process to improve vocabulary? Number 1, we need to identify the word. We need to identify words and pronunciation, and how are we gonna be getting this word, or how are we gonna be getting this pronunciation. All right, this is not gonna be about list or long list of vocabulary. This is gonna be about a topic. In this case is age, right? And we are going to be covering as much as possible every word related to the topic age, right? And don't worry, I'm gonna be giving you that vocabulary in order for you to use it on day 3. All right, second thing that we need to do is that we need to look for meaning and example. Why is that important? Because our brain, it is true, has the capacity to learn a long list of vocabulary, but in the long term, that is not a very good idea, because in the long term, we might, or we are going to forget what we just learned previously. So it's very important that we do this connection between the word that we listen from a podcast, the word that we listen from a movie or a series or a book that we are reading. So we actually use this process in order for you to improve this part of the vocabulary. Step number 3 is to look for some synonyms and antonyms, right? That's very also crucial, because sometimes it's very important to know about collocations, and it's very important to know whether this word can be used in this sentence or in this phrase or not, right? And last but not least, everybody, we need to make our own example. So in other words, there are 4-step process that involve to improve your vocabulary. Number one, word and pronunciation. Number two, meaning and example. Three, synonyms and antonym. And last but not least, make your own sentence, right? So right here, let's master our vocabulary. Let me show you something very quickly over here, how you're gonna be doing this. Imagine that this is your notebook right now, right? At the end, I'm gonna give you my weekly vocabulary planner, but this is right now your notebook. And the only thing that you need to do is actually the following. In your notebook, you need to divide it. I'm not really good at this, but let me change it just a little bit because this is not good. All right, so let me try to use this one. It's gonna be better. So this is gonna be your notebook, right? So what I want you to do is that in your notebook, you do a cross. And the first part, you're gonna be writing over here, word, right? You're gonna be writing over here, the word, right? We're gonna be writing over here, the meaning of the word, obviously, right? Meaning. Pronunciation. We're gonna be working on pronunciation over here. And over here, your own example, right? And remember that the topic is about age. So in the square that you have over there, you're gonna have word, I'm sorry, pronunciation is just right here, meaning is just right here. And you got your own example right here. So the main idea is that you got the word, and then in the word you write down your words, right? Your comments over here. Your pronunciation, you need to make sure what the pronunciation of the word is, right? By looking up in a dictionary, the example, right? The example of the word and the meaning of the word. That's the main idea, right? Now, so I have some words for you already for the H, right? H vocabulary. And let's go ahead and take a look at the first one. So remember, it's word, meaning, pronunciation, and example, right? So we got our first word, which is, what is that word? That is childhood, right? That is childhood. Alrighty? So that's the word childhood. Now, how do you actually know about the pronunciation? Okay, so this is a really good site in order for you to have the opportunity to make sure you're gonna be able to write down the proper pronunciation of the word. And this is Callin Dictionary. I'm gonna be sharing with you on the chat below in order for you to have the opportunity to click on that link and have access to this dictionary. And why we're gonna be using a dictionary? Because this is the best way for you to learn a new word. Once you hear it from a book, a movie, a series, or whatever input that you are taking, right? Alrighty, so take a look at this. Let's go ahead and look for the word child, right? Childhood. So if you pay attention just right here, guys, we got the we got the word itself. We will be child. Let me just copy, and now I'm gonna paste it on my word, right, which is child. So child. Then I go with the pronunciation, and the pronunciation is this one just down below, which is gonna be this one, right? And take a look at this. This is the part that I want you to take a look at. This is the pronunciation, and the pronunciation is divided in 3 syllables. We have child, right? That's T and S shape. That will be child, childhood, right? So then we go with the meaning, and the meaning over here says the following: a person's childhood is the period of their life when they are a child. Okay, so this is what we're gonna be copying from our online dictionary, right? Maybe most of you already know what childhood is, right? However, I'm just doing right here the exercise in order for you to know how actually record a new word, right? A new vocabulary. So let's copy this and then let's paste it here, right? So we got the childhood over there. All right, now we're gonna work on the example, and this is my question for you now. What is gonna be the example that you can use for childhood? I'm gonna be waiting for you on the chat, the people that are watching. What is, one more time, a sentence that you can use with the word childhood? Come on, guys. Don't be shy. You can participate. Remember that participation is crucial, because in this way, I just make sure that you have been actively participating, and you will have access to our private speaking session, right? So those people who are over there, right? Those people who are over there watching right now our marathon lesson number 1, I want you to write down or type in the chat what your what sentence will be with childhood, right? So I'm just gonna be waiting for a couple of more seconds. Let's see who wants to write down the first sentence. Who wants to write down the first sentence? What's gonna be the first sentence? Alrighty. So remember, the word is childhood. So remember, so we have the word itself, childhood, right? Childhood. Then we need to recall its pronunciation will be divided in 2 syllables. Childhood, right? And last but not least, we're gonna be working on meaning that you know already where we taken from. We taken from Collins Dictionary, right? And the meaning is a person's childhood is the period of their life when they were a child. So what will be the example? Let me see the comments if somebody has write down a comment already. All right, nobody has write down any comment. All right, so let me just go ahead and give you my example, right, of childhood for you to have the opportunity over there. So as we mentioned previously, we have childhood, the word, pronunciation, then we have the meaning, which is the time when you were young, and the example, it's that a situation or something, this bring back childhood memories. Right, we got another word, which is teenager, and what we're gonna do is the same thing. We need to look for the word, we need to look up the meaning, pronunciation, example, and as also another the word, pronunciation, meaning, and example, right? So teenager, someone aged between 13 and 19. She actually looked like a teenager, right? She actually looked like a teenager. All right, we got another word. Guys, remember that these words are the ones you're going to be using for date number 3 on the private speaking session. So you better write them down, right? So we got childhood, teenager, middle age. How many of you are middle age? I think I'm a little middle age right now. Middle age, guys, is you are not young and you are not old, right? So you don't need to cut off all your hair just because you've reached middle age. That's the example over there. Okay, so we have over here mature, mature, right? Mature. This is another adjective, and behaves, the meaning, right? Behaves like an adult, not childish. So his friends had always been older, probably because he was so mature for his age. All right, so these are the first 4 words, right, that we're gonna be covering today: childhood, teenager, middle age, and mature. All right, so we continue with our presentation, and we have over here, let me see. Yep. All right, another word, retirement. retirement, right? Retirement, which is the period after you finish your working life. This is what our grandparents do, right? Our grandparents are doing most all the time, which is actually living their retirement, right? So my grandfather spent his retirement in a island, which is true. That's my sentence, right? But you can also write down your own sentence, right? So another word, which is toddler. Take a look at this. We got maybe this is a new vocabulary for you, and the pronunciation of this one is toddler, and a very young child. My toddler is only 7 months old. Yeah, that's Nestor. Nestor is only 7 months old, right? And he is my toddler. Then we got another sentence which is grown up, right? Grow up. I'm sorry, it's grow up. I was reading grown. Grow up, and this is a phrasal verb. Grow up, grow up, grow up. Phrasal verb, advance to maturity, span one's childhood and adolescence, right? So we got the example over there. Ben wants to be an archaeologist when he grows up, right? We got more words, guys, more words. We have already with this one 8 words, 4 in the first line, another 4 right now, so 8 words already. And getting on a bit. This is an idiom expression. This is an expression that American people use a lot. And getting on a bit means to become old, right? So all those people who are above 36, they are getting in a bit from one way or another. All right, so he's getting a bit, but he still got a great voice. That's true. There are people that are getting in a bit, but they look like young. They look actually younger, right? So then we have another expression which is look good for your age. Look good for your age. Look good for your age. This is another idiom, and actually it tells you the look or the appear, right? You appear younger than you are, and you don't need to, or you don't have many signs of aging. Signs of aging is those wrinkle that you can have in your face, right? So you look for your age. What's the secret, right? What's the secret? Good. Golden age. This is another idiom expression, guys. Golden age. Golden age. A period of time, sometimes imaginary, when everybody was happy, right? So the 1980s were the golden age of jazz. Alrighty, so time of our lives. Time of our life. We got another expression over there. Time of our life. Idioms to be neither young or old, right? So Disneyland was fantastic. We had the time of our life there. So far, guys, we have that vocabulary. Let's go ahead and take a look one more time to the vocabulary. So we got childhood. Childhood. If you can repeat this, it's going to be amazing in order for you to use this vocabulary on your 3rd day of our marathon. Childhood. Childhood. Then we have, guys, teenager. 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 Middle age. Middle age. Middle age, right? Mature. 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 Okay? So we got retirement. Retirement. Retirement, retirement, toddler, 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 grow up, grow up, grow up, grow up, getting on a bit, getting on a bit, getting on a bit. Then we got look good for your age, look good for your age, look good for your age, golden age, golden age. Golden age. And time of our lives. time of our lives, time of our lives. All right, so those are the words that I want you to write it down in your uh, notebook, right? In order for you to have the opportunity to remember them in our private practice section. Alrighty, cool. So now we got a joke. We got a joke for all of you who love jokes. So it says, my grandmother started walking 5 miles a day when she was 60. All right. So she's 97 now, and we don't know where the hell she is. For those who love math, I just want to know where she is. Where she is. Does anybody know where she might be? Do you have any idea where she is? One more time. My grandmother started walking 5 miles a day when she was 60. You can write down your answers in the comments below. She's 97 now, and we don't know where the hell she is. Let me see something very quickly over here. It's because I'm being said. Okay, all right, cool. So what's the answer of that, guys? What's the answer of that? She is approx around, let me see, let me just go back to my presentation. She is approx 67,525 miles from where she started, right? From where she started. All right, so cool. Now, let me tell you the following. This is something that I want to share with you guys. I am going to be sending you to all those people that are ready to register in our marathon, and the emails, right? And the email address that you provide before registering to this marathon. I'm going to be sending you the weekly vocabulary planner. And what is this weekly vocabulary planner about? So as I mentioned before, right, this vocabulary planner, you will have the opportunity to recall the word, pronunciation, meaning, and example. And in this way, it's going to be easier for you to get the vocabulary planner every single time that you can and study on your own in order for you to improve that part of your vocabulary, right? All right, excuse me. So, so one more time, guys, this is how actually you improve. This is how actually you improve your vocabulary. You get the input. The input, it could be radio station in English. It could be watching series on Netflix. It could be listening to a podcast, or watching some news, or watching something that you really are interested in. Once you hear the word, the only thing that you need to do is that either in the vocabulary planner that I'm going to be sending you out, you can either or you can use your notebook and divide it in 4 sections, where you're going to be writing down the word itself, the meaning of the word, pronunciation of the word. Then you will have some synonym, antonyms, or the example of the word as well. So in this way, you will have been learning vocabulary as American people do, as native English speaker do. So that's gonna be actually the best way for you to remember vocabulary in the long term. Now, let me go ahead and talk to you about the following. Sometimes it's not about quantity. Sometimes it's about quality. So it's better that you have the opportunity to remember a small amount of words, but you actually know how to use them. Write it down. Learning long text or long list of words, and you don't know how to use them, or maybe when you are using them, they are not right, they are not in the right collocation. So we need to be careful about that. So we are about to finish with our lesson today, and there is something that I want you to know, guys, and this is very important for you to participate in our private session, right? So this is the thing. We have our first offline assignment. What is going to be your assignment about? Okay, your assignment, right? It's pretty easy, and this is something that I want to talk about. There are 2 kind of people, right? Um, in this world, the ones who take action, right? And the ones that just decide to do nothing, right? So my question is, what kind of person are you? I'm expecting you are the kind of group number one person. So in other words, in order for you to actually improve, one of the things that you need to do is to work on that, right? Don't expect that because you have the best teacher in the world, you're gonna be improving. In fact, this is your 50% that you need to do. So, in order for you to be prepared for our third day marathon, you need to read the following lecture, which is lecture 97. Okay, so the lecture 97, let me share with you right away. Let me go back. Lecture 97. Okay, I'm gonna be, yes, I remember now. I'm gonna be sending you the lecture number 97 to those people. Or let me go ahead and see if I have it just right here. The lecture 97. Yeah, I have it just right here. So let me write it down in the chat, right? I'm gonna be sending you this through the chat. Okay, so that's the lesson, right? That's the lesson that I want you to read. That's the lesson that I want you to read, and that's the lecture that I want you to read in order for you to participate in our marathon on day 3. Now, once you have this lecture and read it, try to look up those vocabulary, those words that you don't understand, those words that are difficult for you to pronounce, those words that you don't know what the meaning is, right? So try to look for those where you can either use your notebook or the planner that I'm gonna be sending you out. Or let me go ahead and do something special just right here, because I think I do have the planner in my hand. Yeah, I do have the planner over here. Let me just go ahead and share it with you right now, the planner. So you can actually, what you need to do is to print the planner out, and then you will have access to record the world. So I send you another link, right, where the planner is. And what you need to do is basically to print that out and have the opportunity to do the assignment, right? So the offline assignment number 1 is that one. I need you to read lecture 97. It's about age, right? Which is obviously the lesson, which is part of the lesson of today, and which is gonna be something that we're gonna be using on day 3, right? Now, once you've read it, you need to use and print my weekly improvement planner, where you will be recording those new words you find in the article. Number 2 thing that I want you to do is that you need to look up those new words that you don't know their meaning or pronunciation. And last but not least, this is very important, guys. In order for me to check on your activities, I need you, or you need to take a picture of yourself holding a weekly improvement planner. It could be the one that I share already on the chat, or the one that I'm gonna be sending you through emails, or the one that you can use using your own notebook, and share it on Instagram or Facebook. So in other words, guys, is that you are going to be printing your vocabulary improvement plan. You take a picture of you, right? You take a picture of you and with the planner. You take a picture with you and the planner. And either if you have Facebook or Instagram, what you need to do is to share the picture with us, and you need to mention Nicalingüe. So you need to do @Nicalingüe. That's it. You can find us on Instagram or Facebook as Nicalingüe. Then you share your picture and then you mention us. So my team can be able to track your name, and it's gonna be verifying if you actually did the homework or not, right? As simple as that. As simple as that. And remember that lesson number 1 offline assignment counts for lesson number 2, and lesson number 2 assignments count for lesson number 3, which is our private practice section. So in other words, one more time, you take a picture of yourself with the weekly improvement plan, then you share it on Instagram or Facebook or both, if you have in case both, and you mention us at Nicalingüe, right? And we'll be more than happy to look up your name and write it down. You write down your name on our private speaking section list. Alrighty, so as I mentioned before, yes, and yes, you need to do the whole assignment so you can have a free spot on our private speaking practice, day number 3 of our marathon. Alrighty, guys, so this has been already 42 minutes of today's presentation, almost, 42. I just want to say, guys, thank you so much. Thank you very much for today's time. I had some issues with the chat, so I was not able to actually see your chat, guys. But anyway, so if you have questions, let us know in the chat. I will be checking those comments out later on, and I'm gonna be sending you, or I'm gonna be answering you the questions, and also I'm gonna be sending you the links for weekly planner and also the link for lecture number 7, so you can participate for day 2 and day 3, respectively. So thank you, everybody. It has been a pleasure being with you today for the following 45 minutes. Last but not least, remember that tomorrow, I'm going to give you some time. Tomorrow at 6 p.m. is going to be our day 2. We're going to be talking about how to improve your speaking skills by teaching you a strategy that will help you to speak a little bit longer. I just want to say thank you one more time for your time and talk to you soon. Bye-bye for now.